example, though, of big hilar areas. Everybody agree?
Mm-hmm.
Big hilar areas? Okay, so bilateral hilar enlargement. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, so what are the possible choices? Bilateral hilar enlargement,
1, 2, 3.
what are the choices?
Cockadoo.
Remember, when a hilus is abnormal, it's going to come from anatomy that's already there.
Either lymphatic, artery.
Lymph,
Arteries.
Vascular.
vascular. Yeah. Lymph or vascular, classically bilateral. Bronchi lymph, unilateral. Nerves, almost never. Okay. You see we've got big prominent vessels here. You see that? Those are actually coming back to the hilus.
Viking hat.
That's the Viking hat, yes. I think we talk about that a little bit in the, even in the A class.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That has to do with it's called, the fancy name is cephalic shift and vascularization, or shunt vascularity. That indicates to us that the lung is being forced to hold more blood. And it's got to go somewhere. And so when we're upright, where could we put more blood? It's like trying to put a whole bunch of people in a home, a two-story home. If the main level's full, where are you going to put the rest of them?
Upstairs.
Upstairs, because you got more room up there. It's the same thing here. Well, when it goes upstairs, it makes the big veins prominent coming back to the hilus, because the blood's being backed up. Now, how could you back the blood up? Well, you could impede it in the heart. What could impede it in the heart? And a stenotic aortic valve, a stenotic mitral valve, a tumor in the left atrium. Those will all impede it moving through the heart. You could also impede it getting out of the lung itself. Remember yesterday we talked about fibrosing mediastinitis with histo? We had a bunch of scarred lymph nodes in here. Squeezing the scar is compressing the pulmonary veins. The blood can't get out of the lung fast enough because the veins are being squashed by the scar tissue. That'll back it up. And when we back up the blood into the lungs, what happens to the venous blood pressure?
Goes up.
The pulmonary venous blood pressure goes up. Well, that increase in pressure is back into the veins all the way back to the capillaries. So you remember capillaries leak? So when you increase the pressure, are they going to leak more or less? They leak more. And so where does the plasma fluid go? Because it leaks faster than the lymphatics can pick it up. So it starts saturating the interstitium. That's why we got reticular changes all over here. See it? Yeah. And then the fluid starts accumulating in the interstitial membrane between secondary lobules, which then creates what? Yeah, it's accumulating in the interstitium, but it also accumulates, because there are lymphatics there also, in that interstitial membrane between secondary lobules, which thickens the interstitial membrane, or the septum, and then what do we get radiographically?
Reticular.
Well, we've got a reticular pattern, but what specifically, what are those lines
Curly
called?
lines.
Curly lines. See all the little short guys out here? There's a whole bunch of them. Bunches of them. See them? See those short guys right here? See how they're perpendicular to the chest wall? There's one there, there's one there, one up here, there's one there, one there. But the best example in this patient is right behind the sternum. So what do curlies tell us? Curlies confirm interstitial disease, pulmonary edema, classically, of whatever cause. Now, a patient can get pulmonary edema by slowing down the lymph absorption also. This one is circulatory related. This is coming from blood pressure. So that's a circulatory issue. But you can also slow down the lymph absorption. You can leak normally, but impede the lymph ability. That's what lymph metastasis does in the lung. When you start clogging up all the little sewage treatment plants, the lymph nodes with cancer cells, they can't take all the lymph that's coming because they're all clogged up. They're plugged up. And so they can't take all the lymph absorption. and it just starts backing up, thickens all the lymphatic channels, you know, thickens the interstitium, and it looks exactly the same, except you don't get this. You don't have a Viking hat when it's lymph, but you can still get curly lines. You can still get curlies, okay? This we'll talk about in the circulatory section.